Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at a really fascinating moment. It's Lazarus Saturday, right before Holy Week in the Orthodox Christian tradition.
It really is a pivotal day.
And it focuses on this, well, frankly, astonishing event. Very powerful.
Absolutely. And we're not just recounting a story here. This event, it's layered with meaning about,
Yeah.
life, death, hope, core beliefs.
Right. And we're drawing today from an Orthodox Christian blog, so we're getting that perspective.
Mm-hmm. A really insightful source for this particular topic.
So our mission, if you will, for this deep dive is pretty clear. Let's unpack the raising of Lazarus.
Go beyond just the narrative.
Yeah, exactly. Why does it matter so much? How does that ancient story connect to today's observance?
Because it's seen as this glimpse, right? A glimpse of Christ's victory over death.
A foreshadowing, like a preview of something even bigger.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And the timing on the calendar is just so deliberate.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that. It's the Saturday before Palm Sunday, right as Great Lent is finishing up.
Exactly. It acts like a bridge. You've got this long penitential season.
40 days of fasting and reflection.
Right. And then, bam, this incredible miracle. And then right after, you plunge into the intensity of Holy Week, Palm Sunday, the Passion.
So it connects those two very different periods.
It really does. And the blog brings up this title for Christ here, the Conqueror of Hades.
Okay, Conqueror of Hades. How does the timing of this miracle, Lazarus being raised, connect to that specific title? What's the insight?
Well, think about it. Hades, in this context, is like the realm of the dead before Christ's resurrection definitively defeated death.
Right.
So raising Lazarus isn't just a kind act. It's Jesus actively demonstrating his power over that realm, over death itself. He's showing he's the conqueror before his own ultimate sacrifice and victory.
Ah, okay. So it's proof, tangible proof, right before he faces his own death.
Exactly. It provides this context of ultimate triumph, even as the disciples, and we are heading towards the suffering of the cross. It injects hope.
That makes a lot of sense. A statement of power beforehand. Okay, let's get into the story itself. John chapter 11, verses 1 to 45. The blog walks us through it. It starts quite simply. Lazarus is sick, very sick. And his sisters, Mary and Martha, they send word to Jesus.
And the message is so simple, so human. Lord, the one you love is sick. Just that. Direct. Trusting.
You feel the urgency. But then Jesus waits.
Yeah, that's the part that's initially confusing, isn't it? He waits 2 whole days.
Well, his dear friend is suffering. Why? He tells the disciples, this sickness will not end in death. No, it is for God's glory, so that God's Son may be glorified through it.
So there's a purpose in the delay. It's not indifference. It's setting the stage for something bigger than just immediate healing.
A divine purpose. But the disciples, they're worried, right? Going back to Judea was dangerous for Jesus.
Very dangerous. They remind him of the threats. And Jesus gives this, well, kind of cryptic response, doesn't he? About 12 hours of daylight.
Are there not 12 hours of daylight? Yeah. What are we meant to take from that? Is it about his limited time?
That's a common interpretation. Like, while he's doing the Father's will within his appointed time, his daylight, he's protected. He won't stumble before his mission is complete.
Ah, okay. So a statement of confidence in his path, despite the danger.
I think so. Then, after waiting, he tells them initially that Lazarus has fallen asleep.
And they misunderstand, thinking he just means normal sleep.
Right. Which leads Jesus to state it plainly, no ambiguity. Lazarus is dead.
Just stark.
And by the time Jesus gets to Bethany, Lazarus has been in the tomb 4 days.
4 days. That detail seems important. Why specify 4 days?
Well, in the understanding of the time, 4 days meant death was absolute. Any hope of, resuscitation or swooning was gone. Decay would have started. It emphasizes the finality.
Makes the miracle even more undeniable.
Exactly. So Martha comes out to meet him. And her words, they're just filled with this mix of, grief and faith.
Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. You hear the pain.
You do. But then she adds, but even now I know that whatever you ask of God, God will give you. Even in that grief, her faith in him is still there.
Incredible faith. And Jesus' response to her isn't just comfort, it's this monumental declaration.
Oh, absolutely. He says, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die.
Wow.
And then he asks her directly, do you believe this?
He puts it right to her. And to us, really.
Yes. And Martha affirms it. She says she believes he is the Messiah, the Son of God. A huge moment of confession.
Then Mary arrives, and the mood shifts again, doesn't it? More raw emotion.
Very much so. Mary falls at his feet, weeping. And the people with her are weeping. And then John 11:35, the shortest verse.
Jesus wept.
So powerful. It shows his complete humanity, his empathy. He's not detached from their sorrow. He feels it with them.
Fully God, but fully man, feeling that loss.
Precisely. And then his divinity moves into action. He says, "Take away the stone."
And Martha, ever the practical one.
Yes. She objects. "Lord, by this time there will be a stench, for he has been dead 4 days."
Again, that grounding in grim reality.
Yeah.
It would smell. Death is real.
It really anchors the miracle. This wasn't some illusion. And Jesus reminds her gently, "Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God? Faith is the prerequisite."
And then the moment.
He cries out, a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out!"
Just imagine hearing that.
And Lazarus walks out, still bound in the grave clothes.
Still wrapped up.
Yes, which shows the power, right? Life returning even within the bindings of death. And then Jesus says,
Unbind him and let him go.
"Set him free completely. A return to full life, liberation from death's hold."
Amazing. But the reaction isn't universal joy, is it? The blog points out a split.
No, it's divided. Many witnesses see this undeniable miracle, and they believe in Jesus. Their faith is solidified.
But others?
Others go straight to the Pharisees. They report what happened. And this act of ultimate life-giving, it actually speeds up the plot to kill Jesus.
Wow. The irony is stark. This miracle becomes a catalyst for his own death.
It does. As the source says, it was a divine sign. It pointed forward, foreshadowing Christ's own death, yes, but crucially his own resurrection.
Okay, let's shift slightly to the iconography.
Yeah.
The blog calls the icon of Lazarus Saturday a visual sermon. What do we typically see in these icons?
They're rich with symbolism. You usually see Christ, often standing, looking authoritative, maybe pointing or blessing towards the tomb.
And Lazarus.
Lazarus is shown emerging, sometimes still wrapped in those burial cloths, visually capturing that moment of coming back to life.
And Mary and Martha.
They're almost always there, bowing down before Jesus. You see that shift from grief to awe to gratitude.
Are there other figures?
Yes, often disciples and bystanders, and their faces show different reactions. Some look amazed, maybe some are still processing, maybe some skepticism even. It reflects the real mix of responses.
And Jerusalem in the background?
Often, yes. Which, as the blog notes, points towards Palm Sunday, his entry into the city, and ultimately his passion there.
So the whole icon tells the story, but also points beyond it.
Exactly. And it beautifully shows Christ as both God, the one commanding death, and man, the one who felt their sorrow, who wept. That union is central.
So how is this day actually celebrated now? What happens in Orthodox churches on Lazarus Saturday?
Well, it's distinctively joyful. There are services starting Friday evening, Vespers, and then on Saturday morning, Matins and the Divine Liturgy.
And specific readings are used.
Yes, absolutely. The epistle reading is from Hebrews, chapter 12 and 13, which calls for grateful worship, reminding people of the unshakable kingdom.
Fitting.
And the gospel reading, naturally, is a whole story from John 11, the raising of Lazarus itself.
And there are special hymns too, Apollotikian and Kontakion.
Yes. The Apollotikion basically summarizes the whole point. By raising Lazarus from the dead before your passion, you confirm the universal resurrection, O Christ God. It connects Lazarus to our hope of resurrection.
Clear link there. And the Kontakion.
The Kontakion praises Christ as the joy, the truth, and the light of all, who grants forgiveness. Both hymns are full of triumph and hope.
Now, the blog mentions something really interesting. A different hymn. The baptismal hymn, replacing the usual trisagion on this day.
Ah, yes. As many as have been baptized into Christ have put on Christ.
Why that substitution? What's the connection?
It's beautiful, really. Lazarus is raised to new physical life. Baptism is understood as our spiritual death and resurrection, dying to sin and rising to new life in Christ.
Ah, so it links Lazarus's physical resurrection to our spiritual one through baptism.
Exactly. It ties the miracle directly to the personal experience of becoming part of Christ's body, sharing in his death and resurrection. It's a very powerful liturgical connection.
So, stepping back, what's the big takeaway? The contemporary meaning for believers today. It's more than just remembering a miracle, right? The blog calls it a living testament.
Oh, absolutely. It's living. First, it's this undeniable proof of Christ's power over death, period. If he did that for Lazarus,
then death isn't the end.
Right. Second, it's a huge beacon of hope for the resurrection. Lazarus is the preview for Pascha, for Easter, and for the final resurrection.
Right.
It makes that hope tangible.
And it reinforces that dual nature we talked about.
Yes. His humanity in weeping, his divinity in commanding life back into a decaying body. It gives believers approaching Holy Week this profound sense of, well, hope. Redemption is possible. Victory is assured, even through suffering.
The source finishes by really bringing it home, making it personal. He says, Lazarus' story is our story. And it asks these questions. Have we been dead in sin? Are we bound by grief, despair, or fear, things that hold us back?
Yeah, those are powerful questions for reflection. Where are we bound? Where do we need that life-giving command?
Because the message is, he commands, unbind them and let them go. That offer of liberation is for us too.
It absolutely is. It bridges that gap from ancient Bethany right into our hearts today. It's an invitation to identify those things that bind us and to hear Christ's call to freedom and new life.
And it leaves us with that cry, Hosanna. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Looking forward to Palm Sunday.
The entrance into the final act.
And that final question for everyone listening. Are you ready to embrace the resurrection? Not just Lazarus's, but the one Christ promises.
It's the perfect question to carry into Holy Week, isn't it? A challenge to truly internalize the hope that Lazarus Saturday proclaims. Are we ready for that new life?